All right. Hello. Welcome back, guys, to the next episode 12 of the Matching Experience. Today, we have a very special guest. I'm very excited to bring to you. It's Josh Profit here. Say hello.
How's it going, guys?
And Josh, we just got 5 basic questions. This is the normal format that we run through here. And the first one I have for you is just kind of, could you give a little bit of an introduction, who you are, what do you do, just so people can kind of get to know you?
Yeah, for sure. So, like you said, my name's Josh Gavin. I'm a 17-year-old entrepreneur. I started out running my own marketing agency at the age of 14 years old. I just recently switched over to write copy actually for 2 Comma Club members. So I currently write copy for the people like Choose Pristine, Dan Henry, and a lot of other 7-figure brands that our agency now works with. Along with that, I've also been teaching for the past 2 years now other service providers and consultants how to acquire their own clients using strategies I used at 14 to defeat competitors that are much older than me and much more experienced. So that's what I'm doing now, and a little bit of background about where I got started.
Dude, that's super cool. So you got started when you were 14 years old.
Yes, I did.
And you're 17 right now?
Yep, 17 years old.
So I know this is a little bit off the cuff here, but if you don't mind me asking, what was your main way? Like, how did you get started? Like, through the internet? Did somebody kind of motivate you there? Or?
Yeah, so main thing is I didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to take the ACT. I was bad at school. I wanted to be a music producer, but I soon realized that there wasn't much guarantee to that. So I'm like, oh crap, how am I going to avoid college? So I hopped on YouTube, started watching videos, got into dropshipping, moved to social media marketing, and just spent all my time on YouTube, basically just day and night, just watching and implementing and failing.
Fair enough, man. Got a self-education through YouTube. Exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's completely free too. YouTube is. Now, when you went that route, did your parents kind of like, you know what I mean? I see a lot today. Gary Vee talks a lot about how people need to go to college because their parents are telling them to go there, but it's not necessarily what they should do. Were your parents very receptive to your idea of?
Yeah, so I was blessed to have parents that were very supportive. So I've actually been homeschooled my whole life. So I mean, I was still doing school, same thing, but at home. But since I was homeschooled, they're more open to me finding my passion or what I wanted to do. And my dad himself had been doing his own entrepreneurial stuff himself too, more so traditional marketing and sales and whatnot. So he really understood it and supported me. My mom was a little weary because I stopped doing my school, and then my dad just was telling me like, don't worry, he's gonna get it, just let him do it. And so my dad was on my side, and so he had my back, and my mom of course supported me, but she's a mom, she's kind of, she's gotta worry about that,
right?
But then once I started making enough money, and so once they saw that, they're like, all right, this is working.
Super cool, man. I mean, it's so cool that your parents were cool to go like that.
Yeah, I was super happy they were.
So if we could go back, say 3 years right now, what was it that your first, was it dropshipping you said?
That's what I got into. I thought I was going to make millions of dollars selling cheap Chinese products, with little investment, but I soon found out that wasn't the case.
Okay. So let's say you could go back and talk to yourself from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you have any what would you say to yourself to cut the learning curve, right? I'm sure you've learned a lot.
Yeah.
What would be that what would you say?
I would tell myself to focus on selling a solution, learning sales, selling some sort of solution to a specific industry, and really just focusing on sales, because I was so focused on trying to learn Facebook ads and funnels and chatbots and all this stuff, but I realized I soon wouldn't even be able to run these kind of things if I didn't even know how to sell it to somebody. So I should have focused on sales and also copywriting, which of course is a written form of sales, which is a skill that's never going to go away, and it's something I enjoy. So that I would definitely go back and say, hey, stop worrying about all the other flaky stuff. That will come later. You can outsource that or whatever, and just literally get on the phone, start selling, and doing that.
So it would be more of a focus on sales type thing, hey?
Exactly.
I love that. I'm not sure if you're a big reader.
I'm more so visual. I like to watch and listen to podcasts. Reading, I should be reading more. I'm not a good reader. I just don't quite as much, but I definitely need to start reading more.
I mean, fair enough. If you play to your strengths, if you're more of an audio or podcast guy.
Exactly.
But the reason why I bring it up, the Gary Keller and the one thing, one of the things he says, kind of like the title, is to focus on one thing. And I really like that you kind of did that with sales, which is another, fundamental skill a lot of people say in life.
It is.
Could you give one tip, for anything you can think of?
Yeah. So one tip towards sales or just in general?
Just sales.
Yeah. So what I always tell people with sales, the goal should never be focused on closing the client. All right. It sounds kind of crazy, but when you get on the phone with the client, your focus should not be getting their money and closing the deal. The focus that you should have going into that call is exposing their problem and helping them realize that they're missing out on something and telling them what they should be doing to solve that problem. So your job is to be the person who diagnoses their problem and tells them what they should be doing. And then once you get to that point, you can offer them a solution, which comes down to them paying you for that solution. So that way you don't go into the call. If you go in the call thinking you just wanted to close, you're going to lose point of why you're there. You're not going to get the sale. You're going to be even more upset. But if you go in just trying to expose their problem, you're going to go in with the right motives. And if you end up not getting the sale, you're still going to feel good because all right, I went in there, exposed the problem, I did what I had to do. And I walked away with, the process, the way I'm supposed to go into it. So that's the one tip I always tell people. It's something I wish I would have realized too when I first started selling. Because we're always like, get the paycheck, get the invoice, blah, blah, blah. But it's not about that, sadly.
So would you say I see this happens a lot. I did door-to-door sales myself.
Oh,
yeah. A lot of people would go in there and they would have, I would say, not the best motives. Would you say a big thing was just kind of being, there to help rather than there to make a quick buck?
Yeah. And a lot of people get that confused because sometimes they're like, well, I don't want to give everything away. And the thing is, you don't have to give anything away. You can still help them by simply, helping them figure out what they're doing wrong. Like these people don't even realize it. It's just like going to the doctors, right? They diagnose you, they help you figure out what's going wrong. That's their job. And then they give you the solution, which is the medicine. So, your job is just to expose a problem. That's going to come across as free value to your prospect. And then they're going to respect you and like you for coming and showing them, hey, you're missing out on this. We can help you fix this.
Oh man, I love that so much. Exposing the pain points and then giving them the medicine. Next question I had for you here. In the course, somewhat short, but in the course of the last 3 years, has there been any big failures that you've experienced? And from those failures, if you've had any, have you learned, or what have you learned from them that's really made you to who you are today?
Yeah. So I feel like one of the biggest failures I had was there's two things actually. One was not focusing on mindset and being lazy. And I really focused on strategies and I started focusing on sales, but I didn't focus on mindset. And it's more so failure that's caught up to me right now that I'm dealing with right now. It's held me back. It's slowed me down. I start doubting stuff. And it's something that I'm still dealing with and really focusing on now. And so the biggest failure would probably have been like not focusing on mindset, because if I would have started focusing on mindset when I was 14 years old, imagine how much further I would have been now at 17 even. So I know it's like, people are probably saying, dude, you're still so young, but it's like still, it's just something I look back and I'm like, man, like that's one of the things I really failed at. And another thing would be taxes, not focusing on, putting money aside for tax and getting that all laid out in terms of that, because all of a sudden, I'm at 16 years old making $100,000. I'm not thinking about taxes and getting an accountant, and that really catches up to you. So I would tell people, get that figured out, get an accountant, outsource, whatever. But yeah, those are the two things that those are the failures. I know there's gonna be way more failures in the future, but I'm excited for them because it's just gonna help me learn more. And then also once I defeat that failure, like let's say I go through some really big failure and overcome it, it means that I'm going to be able to help other people overcome that same failure, which means I'm able to monetize that as well. So you kind of have to think about you're helping other people. If you go through a failure, you're going to learn, you're going to grow, and you can help others grow. And then you can also sell that solution to that failure in the future too. So you kind of look at it those different ways. So I'm kind of excited for those future failures.
Fair enough, man. And I mean, we're both of us, I'm sure, are in for a lot of them that are going to
Yes,
hopefully allow us to grow.
exactly.
So going from here, I mean, your main focus today, you said, was copywriting for the two Comic Club guys up in ClickFunnels. Was that?
Yeah. Mainly just copywriting, building out a lot of, like, we build out we do a lot of emails and like application funnels for these type of people. So mainly copywriting is what our agency does. And then I do a lot of sales consulting, and, personal branding coaching and whatnot through my community.
Okay. So at the moment, what would you say would be your next kind of move? Like what's on the verge today that you would watch out for, or that you're on the cutting edge, or not cutting edge, but you know what I mean, kind of.
Yeah. So right now, it would be something I call profile funnels, something that we've been trying to get the community to know a lot about. And it's essentially, people think it's like a funnel and ClickFunnels, and no, it's not an actual funnel. It's essentially a strategic way you brand yourself online on your social media accounts to increase the amount of inbound leads for your service business. And so I started out teaching how to cold outreach, cold messaging, cold email. That was like my first training. That's how I got clients. But as the world gets more and more saturated by bad salesmen doing this, the way that people are going to stick out in 2020 and past that is by having an authority online. So the big thing that's coming up and what we've been pushing and talking about and trying to get people to really listen and get into is, profile funnels and branding yourself online. And a lot of people think like, oh, personal brand, like that takes forever to build up a follower base. And that's not the case. It's not really about followers with the way we do it, or that's not the main focus. It's more so creating content that generates inbound leads. So that's the next big thing. That's what, if people follow me, that's what you're going to see me talking about, and what we're all about.
Okay, so building profile funnel, just because I've never heard of this actually, and so basically making a good profile that gets you inbound leads to go to your funnel. Is that the basic gist of it? Just making good content?
Yeah. So like the way I did it, I do it a lot on Facebook. That's where we teach it, and I would start, posting content and adding friends in my industry and whatnot that I wanted to help, and they would see that I was a professional what I did because I posted valuable content that would help them. And this would make them want to message me, wanting to pay for my services, right? And so it's just a strategic way and a way you use certain content and grow your account organically without having to, use actual funnels or paid ads or cold outreach and feeling salesy. So it's something that people are like, what's a profile funnel? But I'm glad people are saying that because it's just proof it's such a blue ocean and people need to be getting into it.
I love that, man. And do you teach people to do this?
I do. Yeah, we actually are working on our first beta program coming up here soon. I would like to get it open. We're probably going to open it to start of the new year because I know people are busy at the holidays and we want really people to go all in. But that's going to be our main focus is, teaching profile funnels. And like I said, you're going to see a lot of my content around profile funnels and all the variables that go into it. So pretty excited for that.
Okay. Now that's all the questions I had for you, Josh. Is there anything you would want to let anybody know? Any kind of things that I didn't kind of uncover?
Yeah, I mean, one of the main things I want to tell people is like when it comes to this whole business entrepreneurship and whatnot, like you're going to hear a lot of different stuff. Like what I'm telling and teaching and what I'm saying here, someone else is going to say something different and tell you have to do it a different way. But it really just comes down to going out and doing it yourself and then finding your passion in that space. Because if you don't enjoy the kind of business model you're in, I recommend you just stop right away. Because I always tell people, like, if I was in this business for the money, I would have stopped when I wasn't making any money. So that's one thing I'd say to people. Find your passion space, find something you enjoy, and don't just do it for the money because it doesn't really work that way. And even if you do it for the money, you'll get money quick. Doesn't mean that's long term. So it's something I'd tell myself and something I struggled with at a young age, dealing with money. I'm a kid. Like it's a bit like, oh, wow, like that's a lot of money for me to deal with, but you have to keep your, mindset on the right point of it. So that's one thing I would just say. And I always tell people in my program.
Very, very interesting. You just said that. Are you familiar with Alex Becker?
Yeah. Have you seen his recent videos?
Exactly what I was going to bring up.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? I love that. It's really motivating. I'm like, dang, like I used to watch the guy when he was like all flexing and had all this money, and now he's gone minimalist. And he's like, guys, don't make the mistake I made for 8 years. And I'm like, dang, like if he's saying that and publicly coming out, I know he's for real. Like, that's something we all need to focus on.
Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know, basically Alex Becker, millionaire entrepreneur. He sold all his stuff and now he owns a desk, his computer, and his bed, so he can focus on what he actually wants to do rather than chasing the materialistic desires.
So crazy.
All right, man. So where could people reach you?
Yeah. So of course you guys can check out my Instagram, which is Josh with an extra H and then Profit, PROFIT. You can check me out there, but I am more active, and where you see my content will be on Facebook. So you can check me out, just Josh Gavin. You'll find me there. Or you guys can join our free Facebook group with over 3,000 entrepreneurs called The Sales Kings, and you can find a ton of free content there. That's where more prominent is Facebook. I know a lot of people are like, what? People use Facebook? Yes, people use Facebook. Lots of money on Facebook. So I would really recommend that you guys check me out there.
And guys, check this guy out. He's the real deal. 14 years old he started. Now he's 17. Over $100,000. That's, people line numbers don't. It's a good saying I like to remember. And
yeah, so
clearly you're doing excellent.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. And that was it.